877-381-3811. The bottom of the hour, Sharron Angle is scheduled to be here. We'll discuss her debate with the former Senate Majority Leader, Harry Reid. Can you imagine being in politics as long as he is? As long as he's been. Being the Senate Majority Leader and being a complete moron? A complete moron. Now, who can forget, first of all, his smear against the United States Armed Forces and his rooting for our defeat in Iraq? I want all of you folks in the military who serve, who have served, all you military families, I want to remind you of the real Harry Reid when he thought he had this election in the bag 3 years ago. But we have a long memory here. This is April 2007. Cut 17, go.
Now, I believe myself that the Secretary of State, the Secretary of Defense, and you have to make your own decision as to what the President knows, that this war is lost and that the surge is not accomplishing anything as indicated by the extreme violence in Iraq yesterday.
So that the surge, which is underway already, is not accomplishing anything. The war is lost. Got that? That's his voice. Now, yesterday, during the debate in Nevada with Sharron Angle, Reid was asked about this. Let's hear how that went. Cut 16, go.
Senator Reid, you were quoted as saying the following: "The war is lost, and the surge is not accomplishing anything as indicated by the extreme violence," end quote. Do you believe that your statement demoralized the troops and were inaccurate as judged by the success of the troop surge?
Mitch, I first met General Petraeus in Iraq. The statement that I made was made following General Petraeus saying the war cannot be won militarily. He said, and I said, the war could only be won militarily, economically, and diplomatically. That's why after I made my statement and General Petraeus made his statements, we did the surge then, not later. And it was the right thing to do. The surge worked because we brought in the economy, working with the Sunnis. We brought in diplomacy, working with, and that's how we got the Sunni awakening. So they started fighting the people that were causing all the trouble. General Petraeus has done a good job. He's my friend. I'm glad he's in Afghanistan. And I have supported the troops with wounded warrior legislation. I've been to Afghanistan.
That's enough. You're a liar, Harry Reid. The surge was underway. And our policy was always to impact that country militarily, economically, and diplomatically. The surge was underway. And you said it couldn't work, and you said that the war was lost. You heard him say it, ladies and gentlemen. You hear him lying now. Let's hear him say it again. Cut 17, go.
Now, I believe myself that the Secretary of State, the Secretary of Defense, and you have to make your own decision as to what the President knows, that this war is lost and that the surge is not accomplishing anything as indicated by the extreme violence in Iraq yesterday.
Okay, so he is an absolute bold-faced liar. There's more. He's asked about jobs. Why didn't you guys focus on jobs? I mean, Nevada has the highest unemployment rate in the country. It's almost 15%. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Depression-era unemployment. And Nevada has a very fragile economy. Well, here's how that went. Cut 3, go.
Why didn't you and President Obama focus on jobs and the foreclosure crisis first, knowing how Nevada has suffered more than any other state?
For a long time in this country, insurance companies have dominated the healthcare delivery system. You pay your premiums, you get sick or hurt, they walk away from you. We passed health insurance reform.
Stop. Now, wait a minute. People may have arguments with their insurance company. They may think certain things should be covered that haven't been covered. But the vast majority of people, when they get sick, the insurance does cover it. There are exceptions, obviously. I've had to fight with my insurance company, but let's not pretend that you don't get any coverage from your insurance company. So that is just an outrageous statement. Another bald-faced lie. And as a matter of fact, ask any of the men and women who go to the Veterans Administration if everything they request is covered by the VA. Or ask somebody who's on Medicare if everything they believe they have a right to is covered by Medicare. People who are serviced by Medicare are turned away all the time. People who are serviced by the VA are turned away all the time. So let us not pretend that insurance companies per se and alone don't give the coverage that you pay for. Because the overwhelming majority of the time, they do cover something, if not most of it. Please don't call me with all your complaints. This is not the insurance line. But you get the point. So that's simply absurd. And if I'm wrong, then why would an employer even contract with an insurance company? Or why would an individual even contract with an insurance company? There'd be no point to it if you get sick and they walk away. So I wanted to catch that whopper right up front. Go ahead, Mr. Producer.
Because we had no choice. I don't know where you got the question, but the facts are all wrong. We, according to the Congressional Budget Office, independent, have been told that we will reduce the debt by $1.3 trillion.
Stop. That is outrageous. Because what we know, because we're informed, we conservatives, is that the CBO is responding to whatever information is provided to the CBO. The CBO is not free to do an analysis based on all the variables. So they spoon-fed them information. For instance, they didn't include the cost increase for doctors under Medicare. They decided to pull that out and handle that under separate legislation. Harry Reid did that purposely. Nancy Pelosi, Obama, they did that purposely so they could be talking about all the savings. But then they come through the back door and they increase costs. And they add in those other fees. So it doesn't reduce the debt by $1.3 trillion. It doesn't reduce anything by $1.3 trillion. Go ahead.
We allow people who have children who have pre-existing disabilities like diabetes to no longer be denied insurance by those folks.
Stop. What do you mean no longer be denied insurance by those folks? You have a kid with diabetes and you don't have insurance? And what Harry Reid is saying is, we're going to mandate that the insurance companies cover your kid. Okay, that's why your premiums are going up 30, 40, 52%. Because people are walking off the street saying, I want a policy, and now as a matter of law, the policies have to be issued. Well, somebody's going to pay for that. You are. So it's not like we, Congress, we allow people who now have kids with diabetes to be... No, you and me, we're paying for all that. And so individuals who never contributed to their insurance premiums, who may have spent it on something else, now they walk in the door and you and I pay for it. But he's saying we in Congress, we created this new benefit. They created nothing. They created a mandate. Go ahead.
It is something that we had to do, including extend the life of Medicare for 12 years. Fill the donut hole.
Stop. He didn't extend the life of Medicare for 12 years. This is the biggest lie. And you senior citizens in Nevada and the rest of the country, you really, really need to pay attention to this. Medicare is unsustainable. However, if you're on Medicare now, you will get your benefits. The problem is they just took $500 billion out of Medicare, put $300 billion of it into Medicaid, which is for the poor, it's for poverty, to expand it, to include all these new people who don't have health care. So they just drained all this money out of Medicare, which didn't have this money in the first place to turn over to another program. And he says by doing that, they extended Medicare by 12 years. He's out of his mind. He's an absolute Liar.